Welcome to Lesson 17 of A Course in Miracles. I see no neutral things. I see no neutral things. And we're coming from Lesson 17 and all the previous lessons. Lesson 17 says, I have no neutral thoughts. And that's when we start questioning. First, we start going I see a meaningless world. Um, everything that I think is meaningless, like my thoughts are meaningless. And now we're actually trying to understand why is that. And the reason also is that because I have no neutral thoughts. And because I have no neutral thoughts, therefore I see no neutral things. So what we realized with the lesson before was that every thought that I have has a description, has a judgment, has an intention. So we don't just think things randomly. Things. Yes, I might think, oh well, I'm actually looking at a picture that it's got some red flowers, and I might straight away I know that that's the color red. I identify with that color. I might even say, well, oh, I like that picture, or I might not like that picture. So everything that we think um, is not neutral because it does have a description. But also now that we're going to add to it and say, I see no neutral things. So because I'm looking at with a perception of judgment or my own perception based on my beliefs, then everything that I see is not neutral. And what it does at the moment with this lesson is also it helps us to identify that first we have the thoughts. And you can start practicing with this idea and start observing yourself. And it's just such a challenging but also such a beautiful exercise to just observe yourself and see what's happening, whether you're feeling calm, and then suddenly a thought might pop up, and then you just identify that thought as, okay, what is this type of thought? And the next thing is, what does this thought make me feel? What we're going to start identifying, if you haven't yet, is realizing that many of the thoughts that we have are not very peaceful. And the reason being is because the thoughts that we normally have are guided by the ego, all right, by this mind that is, I don't know, that is floating, and then we're all driven by it, and we're all bombarded with all these thoughts that most of the time our thoughts are fear-driven thoughts, or anger-driven thoughts, or sadness-driven thoughts. So now we're going to start realizing that, okay, these are the thoughts. Or I just think of something that you usually think about. Okay, what was that thought? Oh, okay, this is a thought. What do I feel every time I think that? Oh, okay, and you might connect to an emotion, or you might connect to an uneasiness in the body. So a blocked in your stomach, or a knot in your throat, or a bit of a headache, or tense. So you'll start identifying thought and then emotion, and this is the steps for us to start making this big shift that we're all heading to. So the exercise tells us to just practice as usual with our eyes open and looking around, and I see no neutral things because I have no neutral thoughts. I see no neutral things because I have no neutral thoughts. So then we really start owning and taking responsibility of this, because until now it was like, well, what I see in my world, I have nothing to do with it. But the reality is that what I see in my world is my own perception. And I'm just going to give you a quick example. I was today in this place, and there were all these children jumping off a pier, and they were having such a fantastic time, and they were jumping, and it was just so joyful. And this man came up, and he started really getting annoyed, and he started noticing, areas in the pier that he perceived that these children have broken. So he said, oh, they broke this and they broke that, and so he rang the management of the area, and he was complaining, and the children started noticing this, and there was from a joyous place, uneasiness was the result. Yeah, so the children also started realizing that this man was attacking them. The children started attacking them, and as I said, from a moment of peace and joy, a moment of chaos and uneasiness was created, and all because this person was, who knows what he was feeling, and he perceived a moment of children playing to a moment of something was broken. And he felt responsible, because when I sort of approached this guy, he said, well, I'm a taxpayer and I'll have to pay for it. And I just said, well, I'm really sorry that you have to pay for it. All this illusion was created in his mind by what he perceived. And then I also had to look at my own perceptions, because I was looking at a joyful moment, and then I started looking at a moment of chaos. And it also took me back to moments that I have approached my kids with my own judgment, and created an easy moment from a joyous moment. So just observe these changes that we do and these judgments that we have. So one of the examples is also, I do not see a neutral wall. So this is a wall, because my thoughts about walls are not neutral. So this is a simple example about something specific. Or I do not see a neutral body, because my thoughts about bodies are not neutral. And here we might start observing our judgments about, oh, well, I like bodies that are slim, but I don't like bodies that are chubby. Oh, well, then I'm noticing cellulite or instead of so I'm noticing wrinkles instead of a smile. So just start observing without judgment to yourself, because this is an awakening. Start observing the things that you notice and the thoughts that are connecting to what you're noticing, and the uneasiness that is created in your body first, in your emotions first, and then you actually project onto others and onto your world. So enjoy the lesson. See if you can push through the uneasiness, and just keep observing. Just support yourself with breathing, and just hold yourself through the exercises, and remember that all this journey that we're doing is for us to have more peace of mind, to create a better world for ourselves, better health for ourselves, to regulate our nervous system, which is probably out of whack. So keep at it, and I'll see you tomorrow for lesson 18.